Chapter 0.111 Help by Sky. There was a buzzing noise and the gate of the crypt opened. 3 people stood there holding flashlights, and as they moved forward I could see Minnow, Frank and Ben. "How did you get here?" asked Six, making herself visible. "We own the game," said Frank, or we did. After Blizzard obliterated the Dezgul, he was drawn into the screen and we followed, but we somehow crash-landed on the stairway behind the waterfall near Min's place. "So we've been fighting trolls," said Minnow. "They're wild," said Ben. "Pity we couldn't go back to your place and reprogram them. Tone them down a bit." "Sorry," said Minnow. "When I programmed them, I never thought I'd have to fight them for real." Blizzard laughed. "Glad I missed that," he said. All of a sudden, everything went black as Minnow, Ben and Frank's flashlights ran out of power. Six screamed. "Shh!" whispered Blizzard, shooting fire from his hands. "Whoa!" said Frank. "How are you even doing that?" An even longer stream of fire erupted from Blizzard's hands to create lots of little candles that floated in midair. "He's a wizard," whispered Six. Frank and Minnow stared at one another in shock. "A wizard?" asked Minnow. "A time wizard, actually," said Blizzard. "We were going to program a time wizard into the game," said Frank. Ben shook his head slowly. "I feel like I don't know anything anymore." "What exactly is a time wizard?" asked Six. "I get to look after time," said Blizzard, "and ward off attacks from things like the time virus." "So you'll help Sky?" asked Six. "Of course," said Blizzard. "Don't worry, I'll explain more later. For now we've got to focus on escaping. Hopefully my magic will work better closer to the surface." "Your magic?" asked Ben. "Sorry," said Blizzard. "I should have spoken earlier, before the Dezgul, before any of this. I didn't want to frighten you, but I waited too long." "Why too long?" asked Ben. "Because now we're in extreme danger," said Blizzard. "What kind of danger?" asked Frank. "The thieves are not what they seem," said Blizzard. "They're part of an evil force that's trying to rearrange time." "Rearrange it?" asked Frank. "They want to send things off course," said Blizzard. "Why didn't you tell my parents?" asked Minnow. "I should have," said Blizzard. "I thought I'd have more time. I'm a time wizard. I usually have plenty of the stuff." "Are you a real time wizard?" asked Frank. "Or just part of the game?" "Are you part of the game?" asked Blizzard. "Or real?" "At this point, I don't know," said Frank. "We're inside the game," said Ben. "Aren't we?" "Who can say?" asked Frank. "If we are, I'm hoping we still have some power over it." "But we're also real, surely," said Minnow. "The pain I'm feeling is pretty real," I said, wincing. Minnow held my hand and said, "I'm so sorry, you poor thing." Then she looked around and said, "Oh, it stinks in here." "Dead Dezgul," said Six, pulling a face. "Gross," said Minnow, turning away from the great beast. "It won't zombify, will it?" "No," said Blizzard, pointing at the beast. "I forbid you to rise up." The beast shuddered and then lay as still as a stone. Ben knelt down beside me. "Are you okay?" "No," I said. "Isla was here, and Filthy. They have Gem, and they've taken her wings. They did the same to me. Filthy did it, but Isla told him to. I hate them." I started to cry. "Isla?" asked Minnow. "She was here, and she's fully evil," said Six. "A time ghoul or something like that." "There's no such thing," said Blizzard. "Isla is simply a human being without a heart." "Except for that thing that hangs outside her body," said Six. "It really does hang outside her body," I said, staring at Minnow. "Your nightmares were real." Blizzard shook his head. "That's what becomes of someone who is mean for as long as Isla." Ben started crying. "Your beautiful wings," he whispered. "Filthy took them," I said. Then he threatened me that if I told anyone, he'd kill me, and you too. I stared at Ben, my eyes filling with tears. They'll grow back, said Six, hugging both of us. Blizzard nodded. The thieves have no power over you, and they were utterly wrong to tell you not to tell anyone. So wrong. I nodded. I won't be quiet, I said, feeling wild and strong again. Blizzard held my hand. Gabriel will help you, he said. I know he will. I felt a shot of hope. You know Gabriel? Of course, said Blizzard. What I don't understand, said Minnow, is how we got inside the game. And Nyla and Filthy, how dare they come into our game? For real, I mean. Your game has been evolving, said Blizzard. It's taken on life of its own, although I don't believe we are still inside your game. Why did it have to take on a bad life? Asked Minnow. It's not your fault, said Blizzard. Where I come from, there really is a time game, and we take it very seriously. Frank's eyes opened wide. Where do you come from? Chapter 0.1111, The Real-Time Game, by Sky. I'm from another realm, said Blizzard. Where? Asked Minnow. Inside the game? No, I'll tell you later, but for now, just know that when you thought you were inventing the Time Again game and the pinball machine, you weren't. The time game inside your game was simply becoming more and more like the real-time game. Frank looked confused. As a time wizard, it's my job to take care of the real-time game, said Blizzard. For a long time, a group has been trying to infect the game with the time virus and create a plague across all time. Members of the group are dedicated to working with evil. They want to upset the course of history. Instead of ruining the lives of characters in a computer game, the real-time virus disrupts the lives of people like Sky and Ben. Your game's been moving towards reality. You just didn't know it. Frank groaned. How bad is this real-time virus? He asked. Very, said Blizzard. It pushes people's lives off course, and it can ruin families for generation after generation, sometimes even for centuries. If it gets a foothold, it could become a time plague. A plague? Asked Frank. Yes, said Blizzard, but don't worry, we'll stop it. We must. So Sky was right? Asked Ben. She was, said Blizzard. Mum wasn't supposed to die, I said. Neither was Dad. They were not, said Blizzard. Right now the time virus is in full swing in your family's life. How, though? We've never even seen a Dezgul until we played Frank and Min's game, said Ben. So how did our family get infected? The real-time virus doesn't rely on Dezgul to do its dirty work, said Blizzard. Clearly they can be involved, but not in the same way as Frank and Minnow have programmed them into their game. Minnow shivered. Who cares how it all works, she said. We have to get out of this dungeon. Six shook her head. It's not a dungeon, she said. It's a crypt. A crypt, said Blizzard. And you're right, we have to get out of it. Well, this is just like some of my nightmares, said Minnow. We're in a graveyard. How gross. Won't the thieves just follow us? Asked Ben. They'll take a while to realise we've gone, said Blizzard. Don't we need to rescue Jemima? Asked Six. Or she'll be stuck inside the game. I don't think she is inside the game, said Blizzard. She was kidnapped outside the church, not after Sky went into the game. Anyway, I don't think any of us are inside the game anymore. Her wings were here, I saw them, murmured Six. A Dezgul ate them. Blizzard shook his head. The thieves are cruel, he said. They want to terrify you, but those wings could have been brought into the graveyard or even replicated inside the game. It doesn't mean that Gem's here. Six choked back her tears. Are you sure we can get out? She asked. Not from down here, said Blizzard. I need a portal. Did you put one into the game? The wishing chair's a portal, said Frank. So far we've only got 3, But we haven't programmed any other lands, so where would the portal take us? Don't worry about that, said Blizzard. I just need somewhere that's designated as a portal. I can take care of the rest. Won't Isla and the Overlord be able to use the portal too? Asked Minnow. Not if they don't know about it, said Blizzard. First things first, said Frank. We have to get out of the tunnels, and we can't do that while the Dezgul are up there. We'll have to wait for daybreak. They'll pass out drunk by then. We can't wait here, said Ben. We'll be trapped if they come back. Frank frowned, thinking. There's a secret door, he said, past the graves and along the tunnel. Good, said Blizzard. The first tunnel is dangerous, though, said Frank. We put a serpent inside the wall to guard the secret door. Of course you did, said Blizzard. The serpent can be charmed, said Frank. That was actually the Frankster's idea. You really identify with the Frankster, said Blizzard. Of course, said Frank with a grin. We're one and the same. We can sing to the serpent, said Minnow. Remember, Orpheus could charm things with a song, so we programmed the serpent to respond to a particular song. Spice Girls, said Frank with a groan. Oh, not Spice Girls, said Ben, screwing up his face. Frank put his fingers in his mouth as if he might vomit. Yes, Spice Girls, said Minnow, the best girl band ever. Ben groaned. Which song? Wannabe, said Frank. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want, said Minnow with a grin. Ben laughed. No, he said. I really want to, sang Minnow, the serpent to sleep. I hate snakes, said Ben. Don't think about it, said Blizzard. We'll be safe soon. Are you sure the song will work? Asked Ben. Absolutely, said Frank. This is still our game. Well, mostly, I think. You think? Asked Ben. Frank sighed. I'm not sure. Blizzard knelt beside me. Come on, I'll carry you. Careful, I whispered. There was a massive slithering sound in the tunnel's walls, and Six screamed. Shh, whispered Blizzard. We must be quiet. Our lives depend on it. Six stared at Blizzard, her lovely hazel eyes full of fear. We can't be totally quiet, said Frank. We have to sing. Softly, though, said Blizzard. As we crept along the tunnel, we sang the Spice Girls' song in low voices. The tunnel wasn't very wide, and as Blizzard crept along, he accidentally bumped my head on one of the tunnel's walls. Sorry, he whispered. I smiled weakly. It's okay. You're only a wizard. Blizzard grinned. A time wizard who arrived too late. Hopeless, I said with a smile. We heard another slithering sound. Six tried to scream again, but this time Ben put his hand over her mouth and kept singing. Somehow it seemed entirely relevant to be asking for what we wanted, what we really, really wanted. It was so simple. We wanted to be treated like ordinary human beings. Unfortunately, Isla and Filthy seemed to have no idea how to behave like human beings, let alone how to treat human beings properly. Up ahead we could see a trapdoor with a massive brass ring. Blizzard reached up and pulled it open. A little ladder emerged. Quick, whispered Blizzard. Get up as fast as you can. Once all the others were safe, Blizzard lifted me up as gently as he could. Then he jumped up and pulled the trapdoor shut. We were safe. From inside the dark, cold tunnel we could hear the ocean. It was strangely comforting. This leads to the beach, said Frank, but the Dezgul usually don't sleep until the sun comes up. We might as well wait right near the entrance, said Minnow. That way we'll be ready to move as soon as we can. We all nodded. As we moved along the tunnel, small clumps of dirt fell onto us. Every so often a creature darted out of the walls and then scurried back. As soon as we reached the wooden door at the end of the tunnel, Frank placed his finger on his lips. Shh, he whispered. There might be Dezgul outside. Sure enough, we could hear snorting and laughing nearby. We all held our breath, not daring to say a word. Frank found a periscope on the ceiling of the tunnel. He pulled it down and looked through to see what was happening. Convenient, whispered Ben. The Frankster hides them everywhere, replied Minnow. In the game, I mean. Blizzard raised his eyebrows. Even though I don't think we're inside a digital game, it appears that we're inside your game, he said, but it's morphed into reality. I nodded. I'm getting used to the idea of nothing making sense, said Minnow. It's the Wishing Chair's motto. Stop making sense. A most sensible motto, said Blizzard. The Dezgul are starting to fall asleep, whispered Frank, although a few are still drinking by the campfire. Can you see Isla? Asked Blizzard. Nope. Can't see Filthy either. What happens when it's daylight? Asked Minnow. The Dezgul are programmed to sleep at first light, said Frank. But the game has no programming to determine when Isla and Filthy sleep. Oh, so they might stay awake? Asked Ben. Can't be sure, said Frank. If they had drinks with the Dezgul, they could fall into a drunken stupor. Hope so, whispered Minnow.